My boyfriend and my twin sister had gotten married. I couldn't believe it. I was desperate to uncover the truth, but my sister drugged me, inducing a miscarriage. When the fetus fell to the floor, it was still moving, but my sister heartlessly crushed it underfoot. A stand-in's child is just an unwanted burden. I'm freeing it from suffering. Then she picked up a scalpel and cut into my abdomen, forcibly removing my uterus, causing me to bleed out. My boyfriend believed her lies, convinced the child wasn't his. He ignored my pleas for help and told everyone I had run off with someone else, erasing all traces of me. I will never meet her again, in life or death. 5 years later, a surveillance video of my sister brutally murdering me was exposed. My spirit hovered in the air, staring at the paused frame on the computer screen. I blankly watched my body lying on the bed, a hole in my abdomen, blood soaking the white sheets, and a blurred-out mass on the floor. Even my face was blurred out. Who could be so cruel to drug the victim into helplessness? Ezra's colleague said with regret. But this video is from 5 years ago. Is there still a point in showing it now? Ezra sat down. No matter how long it's been, we should speak up for the voiceless. Show it to me from the start. I watched his righteous back, the nameplate on his desk reading Chief News Anchor Ezra. In the 5 years since my death, he seemed to be doing well. Back then, Adeline spread rumors about me and Declan, and Ezra easily believed them. My ashes were probably taken by Declan, but no one had buried me. I became a lost soul trapped in a dark corner. Until recently, my urn was discovered, and along with this surveillance footage, sent to NBC Prime Television. Now, the chief anchor was playing the video. I clenched my hands nervously. At the start of the video, when the fetus fell from my body, Ezra suddenly commented, "This looks about 5 months along, must have been drugged." He sighed. It's not easy to conceive. Adeline tried for 5 years before getting pregnant. Hearing that Adeline was pregnant felt like a stab to my heart. My gentle and loving twin sister, after doing all this, could still be at peace with having a child. But my child could never come back. Ezra's colleague patted his shoulder. Good things take time. You and your wife had it rough. It's all because Phoebe ran off and injured her back then, making her weak. Hearing my name, Ezra's eyelashes trembled slightly, his expression unwilling to linger on the topic. The colleague realized the awkwardness and coughed. Then, in the video, Adeline also blurred out, "Violently stabbed me." Her hand was firm and decisive, not at all like someone who couldn't even open a water bottle cap. She raged and cursed, her voice changed. In the video, my head turned to the side, as if I couldn't feel the pain, my gaze fixed on the mass on the floor. My child was due in less than 6 months. It was still moving, still struggling, pleading for help from its mother. But I hadn't even thought of a name for my child. I opened my mouth but couldn't say anything, crying silently. Tears kept streaming down my face. Adeline whispered in my ear, almost inaudibly, "What if he finds out this child is Declan's?" I used all my strength to grab her, shaking my head madly, my voice still weak. "No. How could I?" Ezra didn't recognize my voice. If it weren't for Adeline having a face identical to mine, he'd probably have forgotten what I looked like. He stood up with a serious expression, heading towards the studio. Then he suddenly turned back and asked, "Has this video been handed over to the police?" The colleague quickly nodded. The person who sent it had already asked the local police in Wayne County to investigate. Wayne County. Ezra frowned, as if recalling something, his breathing briefly rapid. The colleague noticed his odd reaction. "You okay, Ezra? Make sure they decode the blur." Ezra didn't elaborate. He just said, "Such a cruel killer cannot be left to roam free." I laughed bitterly in the air. "Ezra, if you knew the killer was your beloved gentle wife, would you still say that?" I was forced to follow Ezra and watched him finish broadcasting the news. Everything I endured before my death was exposed just like that. But no one knew, nor would anyone believe. The victim was the same person from the headline 5 years ago, the international young anesthesiologist who abandoned her career for an affair. After work, Ezra hurriedly drove to the downtown high-rise rotating restaurant. In the luxury VIP seating, a well-dressed woman was sitting with her back to him. I recognized her instantly as Adeline. Ezra approached, first kissing her cheek affectionately, then handing her a gift. "For the baby. Our little one will look adorable in this." Adeline's eyes sparkled with surprise, teasingly replying, "Why the rush? I'm only 2 months along, not sure if it'll hold this time." Ezra lifted Adeline's hand, placing it on his chest, looking at her with doting eyes. "No matter what, I'll ensure this baby is born safely." I never expected Ezra to value his and Adeline's child so much. When I accidentally got pregnant, I eagerly went to him. He just calmly said his job was unstable, he couldn't afford it, and told me to abort. He didn't even look at the ultrasound report I held. I once thought he simply didn't like children. Now it seems, he just wasn't interested in having one with me. Adeline's grip on her glass tightened, her brow furrowed slightly. "Blame me for not being capable. 5 years, and I still couldn't make you a father." Ezra quickly moved the glass from her hand, letting her hold on to him tightly. "How can you say that? It was your sister who caused this, injuring you those years ago, making you suffer so many miscarriages. I only meant well to advise her." Adeline seemed triggered, covering her head, her shoulders trembling with sorrow. "She's not my sister. She doesn't deserve it." Ezra, filled with heartache, held her close. "If I ever meet that woman again, I'll make her pay, make her apologize to you." All right, don't cry, don't upset the baby." I remembered Adeline had an incomplete uterine septum, a congenital uterine malformation. This condition made miscarriages common, and successful pregnancies rare. She used to feel inferior about it, even hiding it from family. I finally understood, her jealousy drove her to cut out my healthy uterus. I shook my head frantically in midair, desperately exposing her true nature. But no one heard, no one responded. Then Ezra took out his phone and made a short call. I told mother-in-law you weren't feeling well. Can't make it to her 60th birthday tomorrow. You know, she loves you. When has she ever refused? I used to be the one who had to show up at mom's birthday banquet while Adeline could skip it, because I used to be her most beloved and proud daughter. But now, to ensure Adeline's smooth pregnancy, Mom even agreed readily to her missing the 60th birthday. Adeline said, Mom loves me the most. Even if she agrees, she must be disappointed inside. Phoebe already disappointed Mom enough, so I'm definitely going tomorrow. I felt a sharp stab in my heart. She took my marriage, stole my life, and now even took the mother who loved me the most. No one knew. Under my grief-stricken gaze, Ezra gently wiped away her tears. Adeline, you're just too kind. The birthday banquet was more like a second wedding banquet for them. From the moment Adeline entered the venue with Ezra, they were the focus of the crowd, and Mother only sat beside them, watching them with loving eyes. In the crowd, I spotted my closest colleague, Mary. I instinctively raised my hand to greet her, but saw her walking towards Adeline. She hugged Adeline warmly, calling her darling. She used to only call me darling. Adeline, did you see the news? Your husband broadcasted it yesterday. I think it happened at our hospital. At this moment, I eagerly awaited Adeline's expression of panic. But on the contrary, she calmly said, Yes, I thought so too. Mary shook her head. I wonder if it will affect our hospital's reputation. The last PR crisis was 5 years ago, when Phoebe abandoned her job and caused a major complaint against the hospital. This was the first time I saw Mary mention me with such disdain. She used to always defend me, standing by my side against rumors. At that moment, I was hoping to see a flicker of panic cross Adeline's face. But instead, she remained composed and said, Yes, I think so too. Daphne shook her head, concerned. I wonder if this will affect our hospital's reputation. The last PR crisis was 5 years ago, when Phoebe left her job abruptly, leading to a major complaint against the hospital. It was the first time I saw Daphne mention me with such disdain. In the past, she would always defend me, standing by my side against any rumors. Adeline took a sip of tea. I'm sure my sister had her reasons. Daphne slammed the table in anger. Reasons? What could possibly justify cheating on Ezra and abandoning so many patients? Her outburst drew everyone's attention. So many people were waiting for treatment, some nearly lost their lives due to delays. And some developed complications because of the delay, which made the dean furious. Ezra spoke up then. Thankfully, Summer managed to help complete the urgent tasks despite her injuries. Hearing Ezra use that nickname for me made my heart ache. He wouldn't even call me by my name anymore. Dr. Beckett came over and patted Adeline's back. Yes, although it wasn't strictly by the book, it was fortunate you stepped in when you did. Later on, you proved your ability, justifying my decision to let you take over your sister's position. Colleagues applauded, praising Adeline. Even Mother stood up to toast. Though they're twins, this daughter is much stronger than the other. That one might as well be dead. I watched the hatred on Mother's face, my heart aching unbearably. But Mother, I'm already dead. If you knew I was dead, would you feel any pain for me? At this moment, Adeline's eyes briefly showed a hint of pride, before she nonchalantly glanced at Ezra. Honey, would you be sad if my sister died? Ezra replied without hesitation, as if he had rehearsed it countless times in his mind. Someone so shameless, even if she bore a child, deserves to be trampled to death. And for betraying her profession and harming so many, she deserved to die under the scalpel, gutted. Her death is a blessing to humanity. I stared blankly at Ezra, listening to his words predicting my death, recalling the despair and pain of that time. But my child was not illegitimate. It was your child. Tears of blood fell from my eyes. I forced a bitter smile. Ezra, congratulations on getting your wish. The old dean mentioned me, his expression suddenly changing. Someone like Phoebe, I really misjudged her. If I'd known, I wouldn't have recommended her to the hospital. Daphne agreed. You're not the only one who misjudged her, Dean. I believed in her for so many years, only to find out it was all an act. I covered my mouth, unable to believe it. I thought no matter how Adeline deceived the family, colleagues wouldn't erase my past achievements. They should have trusted my professional integrity. But 8 years of working together couldn't withstand a few fabricated truths from a villain. Just then, Ezra's phone received a message. Someone sent him a video. Concerned about the impact on the pregnant woman, he told his colleague he needed to step out. I followed him into the restroom. He played the audio message. Mr. Ezra, the surveillance footage isn't very clear. We could only identify the victim. The victim seems related to you. You should see for yourself.